What is up, everybody? This is Mason with the Next Guy Up podcast. I got Tinsley here. I got Zach here. We got a fun
Yes, sir.
episode ready to go for you guys. We did our podcast before the podcast, and we are primed and ready for this podcast. So we talked a little college
You
basketball.
gotta get the bad stuff out first before you actually start recording.
Right, exactly.
Gotta get the junk out, and then so you're ready. You're only playing hardball during the actual recording.
Only hardball.
It's like when it's 4 degrees outside and you gotta let your car warm up. You just gotta let me warm up a little bit first. If you start me cold, I'm there's no telling.
Miserable.
Who knows?
That's right. For sure. So we got an awesome episode planned. The episode was it originally? It was like a combination of the two, right? Whose idea was this? Was this Zach's or Tinsley's?
All tens.
So,
because the Oscars are tonight.
The Oscars are
last night.
That's all the winners.
Yeah. I don't even know if you guys know who would even be Best Picture, but
I haven't watched an award show in so long. I could care less about them. It's a room full of famous people patting each other on the back for their performance in movies. Good for you.
Wow. Big anti-Oscars guy, tens.
Big
anti-Oscars, Grammys, all that stuff.
Wow.
What's the other one we're missing?
At least the Grammys have like performances.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Tonys.
I'd take that over the Oscars. Well, so my thing is I think it started at 6:00 and goes till 9 Central Time. So you're talking about like a 3-hour, or you could just kind of get the list of the winners. Mm-hmm. And some people may think this for the draft, like NFL draft. I know a lot of people, it's like, why would you sit and watch that for 3 hours when you can just get the list later?
Because you got to hear the breakdowns.
You got to hear the breakdowns. It's also not the same whatsoever.
I don't see, like, even when me and Mason watch it on Saturdays and they start doing all the bits, like the Blue Man Group will come up there and start acting all dumb. Go away. I want to hear about this right guard from Norfolk State and how he is projected to be a starter in the next couple of years after he kind of bulks up a little bit. Like, that's what I want to hear. I don't care about none of these funny bits that you're doing and all the dumb stuff. It's like the Oscars that the first hour is everybody walking in and everybody's looking at their outfits.
Everybody's making that noise too. They're like,
Lady Gaga's dressed like a meatball. Like, who cares? I don't care.
Meatball. That would be electric.
She did that. Remember, she wore the suit that one year that she was she was meat.
It was meat. That's true. A meatball though would be awesome.
This is why you gotta get me warmed up, because now I'm ready to fire away about meatballs.
You love that.
I feel like that would be the thing though for all of us. If we had to do some type of award show, we would just be dressed as food. Like, just give me Taco Bell just on me, and I can just like, oh, there's a taco in my pocket. Here we go.
We need fast food awards.
Yes.
Now we're talking.
Well, we kind of are doing that in a way, just to tease it to the audience here. We came up with a name, Tinsley.
The Moskers. I don't know how would you pronounce it.
Yeah, I like that.
No, that's it. We're mocking the Oscars.
Yeah, we're mocking them.
So this is the Moskers Award. Awards, several of them. I think we got 8, correct? So we're ready to cook. We got 8 awards. Okay. Do we want to banter for a little bit longer? Or do we want to kick this off? Or
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of bantering.
I feel like you're also right with that. What they also do during award shows.
Yeah, they go on and on, thanking 10,000 people.
We've invited people from each of our awards, and they're going to be here to give speeches.
Ooh,
can't wait!
What a twist!
We need like the Oscar music, like some cheesy. Zach, if you are not busy tonight, because I know you don't have 5 billion things going on, just like plug in some like Oscars background music. Let's not pay for that. Let's find some knockoff
royalty free.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, don't hold your breath on that music. Okay.
He's also an hour ahead, and I'm over here requesting music. So
I got you.
Okay.
This is of utmost importance to me. Okay, so we have a couple of awards. We're just each gonna give what we feel like for our own selves hit this award. The timeline is a little bit fuzzy. I kind of tried to keep, because some of our categories of the year when it's like we're in March, so I don't know how that works. But, we're kind of treating the year as the football season. So now it's like the post football season wrap up. So since about this time last year, this stuff has happened.
See, but
I mean,
now
the Oscars
football
is in March
season's
as well. So
starting right now because the combine, which we'll get to,
That's true.
but then NFL free agency is in 8 days, which is
Mm.
in itself a very important day.
For every ending, there is a new beginning.
For Titans fans this year,
Steve.
this is probably the most exciting part of the whole
Why are we
season,
bringing
if you
Titans?
call it.
Why are we? We don't have to talk about the Titans.
No, we don't. Okay, go ahead.
Because then we're
So
going to
let's
get into the
start.
tank conversation, and then we're going to go into the double tank, and Tim's going to be
We
making
do
fun
have
of
to-
us for it. We'll
I'm
get
not
there.
making-
We'll talk about it
No
later.
one's making fun of anybody.
Yeah, whatever.
It is a really exciting time. You got all that cap room, you got the first overall pick. Like the Titans are in control of the offseason.
They are. That is true.
They are the bell of the ball.
Till they
We could
jack
also
it up.
completely mess this up.
All
but
right, here we
that's
go. We're
beside
doing
the
that
point.
later. We're not
Who's to
doing it
say?
now. We're not doing Titans talk. We're done. Okay. We want people to listen to the episode, not to turn it off as soon as we start doing this whole thing. Okay.
Don't go anywhere. We stop it.
Our first award is for the best thing I ate. The best thing I ate this season. Tens, what do you got there?
All right, so it wouldn't be an award show if I didn't just break a rule to start. I got two that are tied. I couldn't help
Okay.
myself.
Love it.
We're gonna start out with the Post Malone collab with Oreos. One of the best new things I've eaten.
I saw them at Costco. They were selling a large box of them.
Okay, I think we
You
kind of
should've
talked
bought
about
'em.
this already. Explain it exactly what they are.
So it's a
For anybody that
snickerdoodle cookie or a shortbread cookie
Hmm.
on one, and then it's the traditional chocolate Oreo cookie on the other, and then in the middle is salted caramel cream.
I'd eat that.
It's
All day.
I'll eat the whole I'll eat the whole thing if I'm not conscious about it. They are a danger to society.
I'm gonna have to try them.
You got to get them. You got to find them.
I feel like anything Post Malone touches turns to gold. You know, he's very successful now in the country game, and now Oreos.
He's a fire country artist. He's a great rapper. He's a great Oreo collaborator.
Fact.
You think it was his idea?
The only thing he doesn't have going, like he's a Cowboys fan. That's the worst thing he's got going for him.
Oh, I did not know that. Tough
You haven't
break.
seen all his Cowboys commercials? He's
Yeah, he does.
He's their guy. But tied with that is the orange creamsicle frosty from Wendy's, which
I saw it coming.
you had to get one more in there for the orange dreamsicle
Shout
frosty. I felt like we talked about it all last summer.
I ate a lot of them.
So many.
I will
of them.
say, yeah, go ahead. I don't want tipping picks, so we'll stick with the orange.
Tipping picks. We're not drafting.
I know, but I didn't want to just like steal someone's thunder on the. I'll just say it. I had the Thin Mint Frosty. I don't know if you've all had it yet. The Girl Scout. You didn't like it?
I'm a big Thin Mint fan.
I liked it.
I didn't
hate it.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it like I wanted to.
I think you're just been so like spoiled with the orange push up or dreamsicle, whatever.
They were out of vanilla. And I like chocolate. I like chocolate frosties over vanilla, but I think for this I wanted the vanilla ice cream with the chocolate Thin Mint.
Yeah. No, I've only done the chocolate. Surprisingly, not too
it was
much.
good. I just didn't love it.
Okay, Zach.
Yeah,
that was the best thing you ate all year.
No. I was just wanting to bring that one up.
Okay,
mine's gonna be definitely out of left field, so I can't wait for y'all's faces. But go ahead, Zach.
I had a hard time with this one. I couldn't pinpoint one thing. The thing that I've eaten the most, though, I was trying to think of like what quantity of thing I've eaten the most of. So I'm going a little bit more generic. I'm going with the Wendy's biggie bag. The whole biggie bag. What a deal. What a combo.
That's the best thing.
That's the best thing I ate all year. No,
So the most,
it's the most.
It's the most, so it's the best.
It's the thing I
'Cause
kept
he
going
kept
back
coming
to.
back for more. Yeah.
Best deal. Best deal in fast food right now. I don't know. I don't get too creative with like what I'm eating. I don't get fancy typically. You know, I just kind of stick to my roots. So that's where I'm at. I want to let the food experts cook on this one.
There you go. It must be a different biggie bag, definitely upcharge, but you can get like the sauced wings now as like so it was like the sauced wings with the fries, and then like you got like a sandwich.
Yeah, it's like an upcharge kind of.
Yeah,
situation.
I think it was only like $1 extra or something. Okay. All right. Best thing I have eaten award. So I don't know if you all remember, last October I went to a Indian wedding, and they had a smorgasbord of all you can eat, just like authentic. The caterers came out of New Jersey, I believe. And this food was incredible. Well, there was a part where, so I thought that I was like, we need to go ahead and get plates now before we get inside. This is like our meal. And they had like these, just like long tables of all this food. And they even had like this open flame thing where they had this, where the tomahawk steaks and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, we got to go ahead and get our food. So we went ahead and got our food. I thought that was the meal. That was just the appetizer. And then they cleaned off all those tables and got out the real meal. But there was this specifically like this Indian like taco that I would love to just like try to recreate. I need to find it, but it was like fantastic. So I felt so like everything
Indian
was just
taco.
light and clean. So I'm going to go with that. Yeah. Indian taco. Who would have known?
Who would have thought?
Who would have
Tomahawk.
There was there was like this green drink that was like insane. All their stuff is like spicy, and I know now why they're also like skinny is because basically the whole time we were there, they were dancing nonstop, literally like 3 or 4 hours of dancing.
So the whole country's skinny because they're dancing.
Listen, no, it's not bad. It's just, I was just saying they all dance. Like that's what they do for entertainment. And then this like spicy drink, I was like, I'm on fire right now. It's peppery, spicy drink.
There you go.
That's all I'm going to say. It was good.
There were some takes in that.
Sure was.
Yeah. If you can find them if you look hard enough.
Can't wait for the TikTok clip there.
We don't need
be
that.
A good one.
Hashtag
good
India.
engagement.
Stop that.
The one where I made fun of British people, it went well. People enjoyed that.
Really?
Yeah.
People don't like British people.
Americans.
Yeah. British people get mad about it?
No, just had Americans just roasting the English.
I like that. Okay.
All right.
Next. Into the world of sports. Sports moment of the year. Sports moment of the year. We had a lot of them. Not a ton of good ones for our teams. Some.
No. Some. Not a ton.
We don't need to talk about it.
Recent bad moments. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tins, you want to go first?
All right. So mine is Zach, actually. Zach, congratulations. Your dynasty lineup of the Chiefs, Celtics, Florida Panthers, Dodgers. If Zach were to have taken his dynasty lineup in a future parlay, it would have been plus 67,888.
The Chiefs
The
lost.
Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl.
I would have had to cash out.
Had you had it, your cash out would have been
Probably would have
insane.
cashed out. Yeah, I definitely would have cashed out.
But Zach did not bet that.
It was just a tough moment for me.
So it's a tough moment.
Okay, I thought this was best sports moment.
What do we do?
Best sports moment because my best sports moment was when I brought this up to Zach and he didn't realize it last summer when I was like, you do realize you could have parlayed
That was
the
tough.
Florida Panthers and Celtics right before baseball
Yeah.
season started, and then the Dodgers won. And I was like, and then he realized, oh crap, I could have done that.
Yep.
Would you,
And the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl. And it's
without
like, I could
knowing,
have been rich.
try to backtrack. Would you have truly cash that out? I don't know if they would allow a cash out. Any of my future stuff, they don't do cash
They would have
outs.
allowed. I feel like they would have had
If you bet actual cash, they don't do cash outs if you do like a bonus bet on stuff like that.
Maybe that's what it is, because most of my bonus bets I usually do. Okay, would you have cashed that out, or would you have let it ride?
I would have cashed it out. Once it got to that far into it, I'm cashing that out.
So yeah,
Are
that's
you
my best
joking?
sports moment.
There's no way I'm running that.
That's hilarious that his best sports moment is drinking the tears of Zach.
The episode when Zach realizes, oh my, I could have bet all of them and been rich.
I like to think about it the other way. I just have an incredible dynasty.
Hey, I'm coming
Dynasty
for you.
mode, crushing it.
Thunder, they're coming for you. I got the MVP. Uh-oh.
Wow.
SGA,
crazy.
he's minus like 500 to win MVP.
Well, I have the Celtics, so
that's true. Well, I have the Nashville Predators, so.
Do I need to remind you like the points right now? Did we talk about this?
We don't need to talk about it.
We don't need to talk about it.
I updated it. Oh, actually, I haven't even done the. Hang on.
The Chiefs being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's an extra 4 points. Okay, so the updates right now are I have Tens has 2 points. Mason has,
I traded in some points for the Thunder. That didn't work.
Mason has 7 points. I have 34 points.
Wow.
So,
when do we just reset? Did we ever just like take a loss and just reset?
I'm down.
No.
I'm also down.
I have a legacy. It's about dynasties. I have a dynasty going.
Good thing you made a lot of money off of it.
We should have done college basketball. That'd be a fun one to add in.
We could have, yeah.
Could have. I'd had UConn last year. The last 2 years, they were my boys.
All right, Zach, your number one rule: if we do a game like this again, you have to bet.
Yep, that would be a good
have
idea.
to bet it. Okay.
Okay. My moment of the year. I actually had 2. I'm going to pick this one, though, as my favorite moment. There's a lot of stuff I could have picked from. The Olympics happened, obviously. I'm throwing back to March of last year when a legend was born. In the great state of North Carolina, DJ Burns emerged as a star. Last year's March Madness took NC State on an improbable run. Overweight. Apparently lost 45 pounds for the NBA draft. Went undrafted. He's playing in Korea.
Yeah.
I checked in on him. But what a run he had. He made a lot of money, I'm sure, doing something. Hopefully he made some money out of that run. It was fun. It's fun to watch. Fun story.
March Madness legend.
Truly, yeah. That was March Madness personified right there. I got DJ Burns. Okay. Mason?
I would have took a flyer on him. If Bronny could have been drafted, so could have him. So could he.
The Lakers get him in shape.
That's right.
Apparently.
LeBron got Luka in shape.
So I heard.
Did you see? He looked like a totally different person when he's in LA.
It's like he's lost.
It's like when James
15
Harden
pounds.
goes to a different team. When James Harden leaves somewhere, he's like shed 3 jackets. Okay, I had 2, and so I did this with I bet you I can look up and be like, oh my gosh, that was even better game. I did games.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because I was looking back and trying to think, what did I remember the most of this football season that I enjoyed? So I have 2. One's NFL and one is college football. NFL is like so insignificant. It's literally a week 5 overtime win and it may be like the last memory we have of Kirk Cousins. Who knows? But the Falcons win over the Buccaneers when he was shouting at the end and had that great game.
Yeah, he broke the Falcons single game passing record with Matt Ryan. They did it was a tribute night retiring Matt Ryan's number, and then Kirk Cousins went and broke his record.
Exactly. He had a 40-yard pass to win the game at the end of that. It was I remember I was watching. I was like, "Holy cow! This is all of a sudden a shootout." Because also the Bucks were keeping it in that game. My second game is going to be Texas and Arizona State. That was also overtime winner. Just because I was like, "What
That
the
was a
heck
fun
is
one.
going on?" This was a back and forth crazy. I was rooting for a little bit of an upset. Scatabo was fun to root for, and Arizona State there. They ended up losing in the end. But those were, if I had to look at the playoffs, that was like the most fun for me, just because both of those games, they both seemed just like a back and forth, just shootout type of games. So
Yep.
I'm gonna go with those two games.
I had a couple
I think-
honorable mentions as well. I had Jameis in the snow.
Yes,
Electric moment.
electric.
He
I
played
had,
really well.
He did play well. His team
He did.
Team win. I had
He put up a lot of what?
I
He
wish
threw for a lot of yards.
I wish I had somebody to defend me like Zach defends Jameis Winston. Like Tinsley just said he played well. He's like, he did play well. His face just he looks like he was gonna
It's a good
attack
game.
Tinsley through. He's like, he did play well.
okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Jaden Daniels Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Against the
That was
Bears.
fun. And I think someone I doubt someone's going to mention this, but the Saquon Barkley backwards hurdle, one of the more
Against the Jags,
impressive
that was
athletic
an
performances
amazing
I've ever
play.
seen in my life.
Yeah.
One of
That was
those, like, I
insane.
have no idea how that happened.
Man, that's
So,
good.
It's going to be part of like his Nike commercial now forever
Definitely.
and ever and ever.
Saquon's whole season, going from the Giants to winning the Super Bowl and doing it how he did it, that was honestly what I almost picked for this sports moment situation. But Saquon had an awesome season. Okay.
Some of these categories, we could go 5 billion different ways. I'm so excited. Okay,
Yeah.
next one, Zach.
Okay. Next is Miss of the Year. Miss of the Year. Tens?
Miss of the year is going to go to McDonald's and the chicken Big Mac. I thought this sucked. I think this is one
I
of
like
the
that.
worst
I like
LTOs that have come out in recent memory.
Wow. LTOs, the lingo. This guy.
So yeah,
like that.
it was terrible. It would have been better if they would have done the McChicken patties, but instead they did this weird chicken, the McNugget one, and I don't like that breading at all. I also don't really like Big Macs because the third bun there in the middle is super unnecessary. It just didn't work for me. The chicken Big Mac, 2 thumbs down. It was a miss. Swing and a miss, baby. Strike
Swing
3.
and a miss. Roast them. Can't fault them for
Not
trying.
had it.
You know?
Wasn't planning on it.
Yeah, they had to
We can't
try
all
something.
we can't all be Wendy's. Shout out Wendy's.
It's true.
Sponsor
Shout
us.
out Wendy's. We love you.
Okay, my miss of the year. We just mentioned it actually. Happened recently. The Mavericks trading Luka to the Lakers. What a miss.
Man, that's a good one.
That's a bad miss.
One of the worst trades in a very long time. Trading your franchise player and a generational talent to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, who immediately gets hurt. That is certainly a huge miss. So shout out to the Mavs. You've tanked your career. You tanked your whole franchise.
Tanked it.
Mm-hmm.
That was
On
good.
top of that,
Both of those. I didn't think of those.
Anthony Davis getting hurt in
Hurt.
the second game with the
Yep.
Mavs.
Very bad. Bad
Yep.
luck.
All bad, all around. Okay.
Win now.
My miss of the year, I have 2. There are no rules. And this is a spoiler podcast, so I'm spoiling what I'm about to talk about. So just get ready, everybody. That's going to be Outer Banks season 4.
Oh boy.
Just a complete miss. Okay. All of a sudden, JJ has a dad that ends up killing him, by the way. He's dead now because he wanted to be out of the show. Look into all the rumor mills if you want. I'm not going to explain all that. That was just a rough. I kept pushing through because it was promising to start. Yes, it was unrealistic. And all of a sudden, like, these kids are just on the run from 50 billion. Now it just got out of hand. It was just,
Mhm.
it was almost hard to watch. Tinsley feels like he agrees with me. I feel like.
Yeah, at a certain point, the police are shooting these people for running away so much. Like you can't just keep breaking the law and evading the police; they will shoot you.
And they're just setting things on fire. It was just too much. I was like, "What in the world is
And
happening?"
that whole
This got out
scuba
of hand.
scene when they're down there, you can't scuba
Yeah.
down there that long. You're not
No,
trained
and
professional scuba divers.
If I can't
Down in
the
boat.
scuba, then what's all this been about?
That's
And then
true.
people
What's
got
the point?
attacked. Yeah, they like attacked them, and they had to get in a chamber. It was just a weird. All of
Yeah.
it was just so much.
Yeah.
And then he's like on top of this like pyramid thing, trying to get out the treasure. It was just, what is happening? She's pregnant out here in the desert. Like, what are we doing? Anyways,
Mhm.
miss of the year, Outer Banks season 4, and then
That's a good
also
one.
Yellowstone season 5. Kevin Costner just blew up the whole thing. He was like, I'm done to
Mhm.
focus on this trash film that didn't even do well. I think it lost
It like
money.
went straight to Netflix, and this
Yeah.
was like
Getting
he
shot.
said this was his life's work.
Horizon?
Yeah, he said it was gonna be like
Theaters, I
his.
think.
Well, he literally like quit on Yellowstone because Horizon was supposed to be like his crowning achievement
Yeah.
as an actor. And guess what, buddy? It's on Netflix right now.
Went straight to
not
see.
great.
Listen, maybe I'll give it like a little bit of a chance.
No
but when
Oscars tonight for
no
Horizon.
Oscars tonight. You're correct. But when something gets bad reviews like that and goes straight to Netflix, I go in with not high expectations. But anyways, spoiler podcast. So they kill him off because they don't know what to do right off the rip, and it's just not the vibe
Wait,
anymore.
Rip's a character. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, he's there as well. It's just not the vibe. It was just not good. I did not enjoy it. They just had to come up with something, and then Jamie dies at the end. Spoiler alert! All spoilers.
Wow, rip.
So
I think Mason just want to take the opportunity to just completely
Spoiler.
summarize seasons of two different shows.
but those were misses.
Spoiler.
You all agree with me. They were misses. They missed. I waited like forever for Yellowstone. They put us on like a 2-year
Yeah,
wait
True.
for that for half a season too. So, anyways,
You guys watch
those
Reacher?
are my misses. I have not. I've heard it's really
Yeah,
good.
watch the
Everybody
first
keeps
season.
going on about it.
There's a new season. That's good. He's very
Not a miss.
He's a
Jack.
huge man. He's trying to be Batman. He wants to be Batman.
He'd be
I'm
pretty
Batman.
good, probably.
He's openly said he wants to be Batman.
He's humongous. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Best news story of the year. Best news story of the year. 10?
All right. So this was a really big news story for me personally. And the person who broke it, this was the best version of it for me because this person had to eat about 3 crows when he had to do it. When the Jacksonville Jaguars got the stadium approved to be in Jacksonville for the next 30 years, Mike Florio, who about once a month will write about how the Jaguars are moving to London for the last 10 years I've been dealing with, finally had the report that the Jaguars are not moving to London and that they will be staying in Jacksonville until I am 61 years old. That was the best news story of the summer for me. It was great having to watch Mike Florio eat his words and cry about it because he's been calling the Jaguars the London Jaguars for the last 10 years. So, Mike Florio, you suck at your job. You've never once had a source inside of Jacksonville because you claim that you did. You claim that you knew that we were going to move there eventually. You're a moron and an idiot and a joke.
Now there's news about the Texans, right? Didn't you send us something about their
the Texans
stadium?
are having a little bit of a tiff with the city there, saying the city's not going to help pay for the stadium, and the owner said, "Well, I guess we just might move to San Antonio." I hear,
which might make
be
you
a real
happy.
shame, Houston, if you lost 2 football teams.
Tough break. It's tough.
Real tough. Real tough. Real tough stuff.
I like Texans 10s more than Titans 10s. Okay.
Same.
Texans 10s doesn't exist. It's just I hate them.
Best news story of the year. This was my favorite one because of how wild it was. I remember when it first happened. This happened in May of last year. Bryson DeChambeau getting arrested before his round. What a wild story that was.
Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler.
Holy cow, I'm way off.
You're a golfer. You're a golfer.
Scotty Scheffler getting arrested. Boy. I don't
That's
know
how news
where I
gets
got
spread, everybody. Wait, when did this
Shimbo
happen? Bryson.
arrested. Okay,
Oh,
look,
man.
that was my miss of the year right there. They are both golfers, though, at least. Scotty Scheffler getting arrested before his round in Louisville. What a wild story that was.
And the
I remember
mug shots
it
out,
happened,
the
the mug
pictures.
shots, yeah, and everyone's trying to figure out what happened. He comes back and still plays that day. It was very funny. It was all over the internet. It was a fun morning on Twitter.
It was awesome. That's what Twitter was made for, was days like that.
You start getting all the reports in that he was arrested and everyone's trying to figure out why, and people are just making it's like conjecture about what they think happened, and that was a fun day.
The video came out, all the cops the cop is getting memed to death online. Oh, it was fun times. And then he didn't win that tournament, did he?
No, but he had a really good first round though. Like
Yeah.
right after he came back
right
from jail.
after
He was
got
warming
out.
up in the jail cell.
I remember he like shot lights out.
And the guy who like owned the course came and picked him up from prison. It's awesome.
It's crazy.
Okay, sorry to Bryson DeChambeau.
Shout out Bryson.
We're getting a defamation lawsuit on
I
our
was
doorstep
not
anytime.
trying to shame you. Scotty Scheffler.
Okay, my news story.
Blew it.
This also had been going on for a while, and then it happened for less than a day. That would be the TikTok ban. It was this huge talk, everybody freaking out. And then it happened, and everybody continues to. And I think Instagram probably got its largest of the reels that day, probably in ever, just because someone had to find something to replace TikTok with, and so everybody's just scrolling on reels. Obviously, not the same, but they had to find something to fill the void. And then TikTok's back. It was less than 12, 15 hours, something like that. And then I think it's still. Yeah, and I think they're still trying to continue figuring out some of they just said, hey, you need to reconstruct some of this stuff in order for it to continue. So it's still not over yet. I don't think they're threatening to ban it again permanently, but we'll see what happens.
So that was started downloading the Chinese version of TikTok.
Red Note.
Yeah, that was much worse than TikTok was.
And everybody was like, "Stop signing up for it. You're signing up for the army." That was my favorite meme.
What a wild!
We're like, I don't care. I just want my TikTok videos.
That's just a crazy time. People were selling their phones because if you didn't have it on there. Yeah. And then we got a new we got new phones, so then Jalen didn't have it on hers, and then it fixed itself. So it was this whole thing, but. Yeah, TikTok ban. That is my pick.
Okay, I love it. Next up,
good stuff.
Person of the year. Person of the year. Tens. Can't wait for this.
All right, I have two. My first one is whoever you are out there that fixed my Taco Bell app. I love you. You're the man of the hour. You are my hero.
Woman of the hour.
Or woman. Man or woman, whatever person. You might be an AI bot for all I know.
Yes, it could be. You've sent so many emails. Who knows who received
so many
it at this
emails.
Point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't just whoever fixed it, because it was dark days over here.
Maybe listen to the podcast.
They have to be a listener at this point.
Could be.
Someone caught it.
Come on,
they caught my pleas on TikTok, where I was like, TikTok, please help me. I need Taco Bell to fix this. So that was my first person of the year.
Love that.
My second person of the year, and this is someone who has gotten Mason and Josh and Kyle to start spending an absurd amount of money on Pokemon cards by simply sending them a Whatnot stream. I am the person of the year to these guys because I got them to start a new hobby, something to do when football's not around.
Himself.
They have all jumped in feet first, especially Kyle. So Kyle, you're welcome. I'm your person of the year. I got you a new hobby to do and spend thousands of dollars on. So you're welcome.
It's crazy. Yeah, the amount of money, thanks a lot, Tens. Just
You're
thanks
welcome.
a lot. It has been a fun hobby to get back into, I will say. And it's been booming right now. So if you want to sell your Pokemon cards, sell them to me. I'll buy them at half price. Just kidding.
Wow. Pennies on the dollar. Okay, my person of the year.
It's pretty funny.
This one's actually kind of real. The person who probably has impacted sports the most in this past calendar year, I'm going with Caitlin Clark. She made herself a ton of money, changed the game of basketball for women's basketball for sure. I'm not going to get into the whole debate, but I mean, has been at the center of conversations, literally selling out arenas by herself in the WNBA. Shout out. Great. What a year. Truly. Went from playing college ball to like having WNBA games move to larger arenas so they could sell those out instead of the smaller arenas they typically played at. I mean, once you're at that level, it's pretty cool. So shout out to her.
It's a good pick.
Person of the year.
Person of the year. All right, my person of the year, I went with Jaden Daniels. He ended up winning Rookie of the Year just because we got to this point where I was like, okay, I want, like, he's made, like, and other players have done this, don't get me wrong, like, fun to watch, but he has, like, been so fun to watch this season, in my opinion. So we talked about already, had the Hail Mary, had the upset in the first round, which might get to here in a little bit, who knows. But he's just had incredible. He was literally one game away from getting to the Super Bowl. So Jaden Daniels, fun to watch. My person of the year.
He's electric.
Electric.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I'm ready for this. This one's gonna be fun.
Next up, fraud of the year. Fraud of the year.
Fraud of the year.
We love to use the word fraud around here. So we've called a lot of people frauds over the course of this past year. Who do we got? Tens?
Your fraud of the year is Nick Sirianni. He is a coordinator merchant. This guy has one of the best rosters in football for the last couple of years.
What in the world?
His team was absolutely awful last year when he got to pick his offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. Not the Bears Ben Johnson, there's two. That was his offensive coordinator last year and his own defensive coordinator. The GM made him fire both those guys and hire Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, and look what happened. Bang, bong, boom, Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni, coordinator merchant. He is a fraud.
What do you think what's the role of a head coach on a football team, Tens?
I don't know.
Like,
I'm just saying he got carried there by his two coordinators. One of his coordinators could have done his job.
I think someone could say that good head coaches surround themselves with good people that can.
He doubles down on the Nick Sirianni hot seat literally like 4 months ago, said he should be fired, and wins the Super Bowl, and now he's like fraud of the year.
What a take.
Fraud of the year. If they start out bad next year, Eagles fans will agree with me.
I'm
They'll want them gone.
That is
if I had
true.
this
Those
take,
guys are
y'all would
crazy.
be roasting me. They are crazy. It's a different type of fan.
Okay, fraud of the year. Actual fraud. Actual fraudulent behavior.
I just have to stand on a hill. She
Tua.
is a fraud.
Is there a bigger fall from grace than Tua? She made a stupid little 10-second video, became famous overnight. Wrote it, and she was doing great. Then she decided she wanted to get into the meme coin kind of realm, and
got greedy.
all of a sudden tanked. Some people thought she was dead. Could still be. AI technology is very good. She could be dead.
She could have had a happy little life doing her podcast about nothing.
Yeah,
making a lot of money. She's making a lot of money. But instead, tried to get greedy. Had to get greedy with the meme coin.
Actual fraudulent
now probably
behavior.
going to jail.
Yeah. So, shout out to Tua.
I have no idea how the meme coin world works.
I don't think anyone does.
I saw something with like Dave Portnoy. I think he had something going on with that, and I was like, I have no idea what this is.
Seems like a good way to lose a lot of money pretty quick.
it's a good way for one guy to make a bunch of money and then everyone else to lose money. That's pretty much what happens, I think. So, I don't know.
Okay, my fraud of the year. I kind of already talked about it already, but you are the best team in the NFC. You have the best record. You get the first round bye, and then you lose to the Washington Commanders.
Ooh.
Fraud of the year is going to be the Detroit Lions.
Tough.
They kind of got blown out in a sense a little bit. I think it was like, yeah. So, I mean, just overall, everybody, they were the betting favorite at one point to win the Super Bowl. They were the lead favorite. And high expectations, and now, and did they lose both coordinators or just one?
Both coordinators, a lot of position coaches.
So we'll see what happens. But I mean, it looks like they're keeping all their bigger players that are already.
See if Dan Campbell can not get the Fraud of the Year award next year for being a bad coach, being dependent on his coordinators. He's on the watch list.
But they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Makes you a bad coach.
They lost in the first round after having the best record. They didn't win the Super Bowl.
Dan Campbell's definitely on fraud alert.
Good head coaches fire their coordinators. Just does it all themselves.
Just saying.
Calls all the plays, both sides of the ball.
Nick Sirianni got to pick his coordinators. They were bad. He fired them. Then the team was good. Some people are saying.
I'm pretty happy with my picks.
I think maybe just you are saying at this point.
Maybe I'm trying to start a narrative. Trying to have the Eagles fans on my side when they turn on him. They're a good bunch to have.
That's true.
I'm curious to see where we're going to go with this one. This is going to be wild.
Enemy of the year. Enemy
of the year.
Lots of people that could fit in this category. I got a couple for sure. Tens.
My enemy of the year. Now, this you could say this is a whole organization, fan group, everyone. But very specifically is the Texans fan who hopped in my DMs uninvited.
I knew this guy.
And then blocked me when his linebacker decided he was going to go rogue and kill my quarterback. He blocked me because he knew I was coming for him. He is a coward. He's a fraud.
Guy's an enemy. Yeah,
that's right.
So he is my enemy.
You didn't even say anything, right? He just blocked you on that random.
As soon as the hit happened, I went to my DMs to say something to him, and I was already blocked.
Do you think it's the player that did that hit?
No, it's some guy. Want the smoke? No, I could see where he was replying to stuff, but it was you can't see this content because this user has blocked you. So that guy's my enemy, but along with CJ Stroud for saying it wasn't a dirty hit. The head coach for saying the Jaguars were at fault for fighting with the linebacker for doing that. Because if that happened to CJ Stroud, I'm sure he wouldn't want his players to go and punch somebody. So yeah, the Texans organization have moved up to my number one enemy list, but specifically that Twitter user who blocked me and never gave me the chance to banter with him after hopping in my DMs a year prior.
Wow.
They may lose their whole team at this point, Tim, so cut them some slack.
It's true.
Nope.
Might go to San Antonio.
I will find him.
Jason
I think I'm going to get a burner and find him and burner him back.
I like that you're not actually mad at the guy who did the hit. You're mad at the Twitter user who blocked you.
Oh, I don't like him either, but he's a dirty player. I can't expect anything less for him.
I was expecting him to be
we could all get
enemy of the
year.
Yeah.
He's a dirty player. He won't admit that he's a dirty player, but
he's an enemy.
He's also my enemy. That's a given. He's my enemy.
Okay, gotcha.
Pretty much everyone on the Texans, except for Nico Collins. I kind of like him, fantasy football wise, but he plays for the Texans. I can't draft him.
Okay. Enemy of the year. My number one, I've got two. I have to say both of them. My number one, the free throw merchant himself, Zach Edey, raining terror upon the entire March Madness field.
It's true.
What are you supposed to do against this tall, stupid idiot who just sits down in the paint, gets fouls called against him all day because he's a foot taller than everybody else?
Has no fundamental basketball skills.
He's not. I mean, he's not bad at the NBA. It's just impossible. It was impossible to stop him whenever he's going to get called. I mean, that's just what he did. He was not fun to watch.
Turning around with the ball
the entire tournament for everybody. Except for one team where my second enemy resides. That'll be Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley's really turned into an enemy this year. He went from a 2-time national champion, like back to back, to all of a sudden, there's a fun thing that happens where people have a certain tolerance for like arrogance if you're winning. And then when you stop winning, it becomes much
Annoying.
less cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be like if, I don't know, if like Nick Saban wasn't like who he was, but he acted the way he did, people would be like, "Oh, this guy sucks." But when you're a winner, it doesn't matter. This year,
I think
Dan Hurley's
Belichick got some of that.
Belichick's the same way. Yes.
When the Patriots started being bad, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm over the Belichick hoodie sweater and just do your job," and all his little catchphrases like, "You're losing and you suck. Just shut up."
Yep. This has happened to Dan Hurley this year a little bit. He has this he had this kind of aura around him. Now his team is not as good. He lost some of his guys. All of a sudden, he's got pretty annoying. He yells at the refs a lot. A lot of people don't like him. He's become an enemy. I think he's the number one enemy in college basketball right now. So,
probably.
shout out to Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley, if you catch this though, just know you'll never be my enemy. You made me a lot of money the last 2 March Madnesses.
Did happen.
I can never hate the guy. I can't. He did a lot for me.
College basketball maybe needs an enemy. You know,
I think so. I think it's good to have a coach.
There's a couple of them. Nate Oates has an enemy energy too.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Coach Cal, enemy.
Yeah, but he's just wasting away in Arkansas now.
It's not gonna make the tournament.
Losers.
Tough break.
Okay. Yep. College basketball has way more enemies than college football.
I think because the coaches.
I don't know why.
More college basketball coaches. Yeah, more personalities, and they're more important to the game than like a college football coach is. Really, at the end of the day, probably.
Yeah. That could be true.
If Urban Meyer was still a coach,
you get to watch him on the sideline. You kind of get to hear him yelling at the refs and stuff.
Yeah, because the NBA, they don't do that. Like the coaches are very unimportant and not really doing anything.
Yeah, they're just like player managers, kind of. They're just like, all right, guys, here's the player we're going to run.
What was the older guy that yelled a lot? Was that Bobby Knight?
Yeah,
was that the
Bobby
one that
Knight
was
threw chairs and stuff.
Yeah,
court.
That's an enemy right there.
Yeah,
he was
an enemy. Yeah.
R.I.P. my man Bobby Knight.
R.I.P. Bobby Knight.
Gone too soon.
Good for the game. Okay, Mason.
Enemy of the year. This is actually like a thing instead of like a person, and that would be the tush push play.
Wow.
Get it out of here. Bad for the game. I hate watching it. We even had to see it in the Super Bowl. It did make me money.
Did make me money as well.
Jalen Hurts' first touchdown, of course. But it's just me and Tinsley. I just remember Tinsley yelling at when we were watching the game before the Super Bowl, where they were up against Washington. We had to watch it like 6-7 times in a row because they kept getting offsides, and it's just like a horrendous play for me. And a lot of people are like, it's a football play, diving at the knees. I'm surprised there's not more injuries. And it's like, well, other people don't know how to do it. I mean, Josh Allen didn't do it correctly or whatever. And I was like, I don't know. I've just seen so many people pushing back on this, and I'm like, this wasn't even like a old football play. This just came popular the last couple years, and it's a cheat code for certain teams that's all they like to practice, and they found a benefit on. That's all I'm going to say with it. Get it out of here. Packers wanted it out of here, and hopefully it might be
going to vote. They're
looking at it. Yeah, get it out of here.
It was illegal just a couple years ago. You couldn't push a player from behind. Like that was a rule up until just a couple years ago.
Yep.
And if you look at it, not to be a football nerd, but the offensive line is not set ever in a formation that is legal. Every single time Lane Johnson is down on all fours, he's a right tackle. You can't line up like that. It's not legal. All of their heads are past the football. That's false start.
I know this is crazy, but you never see like replays or slow motions, and I feel like that it's because they don't want you to see how like bogus like players will be moving forward as it starts. Like the person's already pushing before as the ball's like getting hiked. Like it just, I don't know. It just seems like a bogus play to me. Enemy of the year for me.
Wow.
It's just because it's ruining the game. I'm surprised we don't see it in college yet.
Ruining the game, everybody.
I really do think so.
You're
I'm
gonna
not
get max
kidding.
of 2 yards.
Touchdowns. There used to be
Yeah.
goal line stands. That was like what
Sure.
was fun to watch, and now it's not that anymore.
Only if your offensive line's really good.
They're not really good. They're lined up in a way that they're already underneath the defense because the way they do it is not legal.
And then what was the tight end? There was a tight end that was also taking snaps and doing it. I just feel like now they're just going to have different players. If you don't have a quarterback,
Cole Kmet for the Bears was
if
doing
you
it.
want, if you're just like worried about like your quarterback getting hurt, if he's like a scrawnier, skinnier, just not built to do this, they'll just start putting tight
Bryce Young.
ends in there. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. That's all he's saying.
That's all he's going to say.
Our last category here in our Moskers is the best thing I watched. The best thing I watched. 10th?
This is probably my most serious one I'm going to give out. It's the TV show Paradise.
Oh.
I actually think it was really good. I have no funny bits about this one at all. It's a good show. It's probably it's going to be like one of these shows I look forward to now. Yeah, Paradise on Hulu. Check it out. It's a must watch.
I've not seen it.
Must watch.
Wow.
Modern day Lost vibes. Like this is the future of television. This show right here.
That's crazy. That's something right there. I like it.
And my other one was Mac Jones playing significant amounts of football this year. It's my favorite thing I watched in my life. Mac Jones made me miss Blaine Gabbert.
Oh man.
Stuff. Okay.
Tough
best
break.
thing I watched. Also a TV show. It's partly because I rewatched some of the first couple seasons, but the third season was very talked about and I enjoyed it as well. That'll be The Bear. Fun show. Came out. People are jumping on board. Some fun kitchen stuff happening there. We got to talk about it on the show a lot on this show. So it's a good one. It's fun. I like the characters. Yeah, fun stuff. I got to rewatch it with my wife, so that was fun too. I got to watch back through the first 2 seasons, so good stuff.
Also must watch. The Bear.
Must watch. Yeah, chef.
Okay, mine, I feel like I'm going to be made fun of. What else is new?
Oh, boy.
It's kind of funny because it came out in 2022, but I just watched it in the past 3 months, 4 months, I guess.
Infinity War?
And it actually got brought up during last week's, what'd you say?
Nothing.
Okay, it actually got brought up during your all's last week's episode of... Yeah, and that would be Avatar Way of Water. I actually really enjoyed it.
Wow. You watched it from home?
Yeah, I watched it from home.
Oh, yeah.
It was on Disney Plus.
It's pretty good. Not bad.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Mr. Hater over there.
I don't mind it.
It's also funny that it's been out
I
for
watched
like
it
2 or
in
3
my
years.
That's why it's funny because it's been out for a long time.
You guys know me. I don't watch
the next
things.
one. You're good.
That's right. I'm trying to space them out a little bit so I don't have to wait 8 years to watch the next one. Now I only have to wait 5.
Honorable mention, Deadpool Wolverine. Watched that with the boys.
Yeah.
Did some live reactions. That was fun.
We did.
I mean, it wasn't movie magic or anything, but it was good.
Moana 2 was almost on my list.
Haven't seen it yet.
I really like it. It'll be on Disney Plus pretty soon.
I think in like 2 weeks.
It was good. Macy liked it. We actually sat through the whole movie.
It's at least a new movie to put in the
rotation.
Cycle. Yeah, that's a big plus.
Mason picking Avatar. It's funny because Macy's been rewatching Toy Story a lot recently. Like it's like her favorite movie right now.
Good one.
And so I'm just like, that'd be like if Macy was like, "Yeah, the best thing I watched this year was Toy Story 1."
It's a good pick. I do think there's a strategy. I'm already trying to think about like what movies to introduce carefully. Because I feel like there's certain movies you just want to avoid, you know?
Monsters Inc. Don't start that one out when they're young.
I'm not to be scary, but like for rewatchability purposes, like
Oh,
you don't want them to love a movie that you don't want that you hate. You don't want to have to watch it all the time.
Want to rewatch.
They fall in love with it. Like Toy Story is a good one. Like that's a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Toy Story is at least once a week.
Like the songs of Frozen make that kind of a tough one.
Yeah, but I had kids at the time where it was unavoidable.
Problem. Yeah. When it's everywhere, you kind of just can't get past it.
We avoided Mickey Mouse pretty good.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, pretty annoying.
You're in the Coco Melon.
We had Coco Melon for just a minute. I banished that pretty quick.
Paw Patrol?
Paw Patrol? I like Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol's fun. Paw Patrol movie, probably on my list of best things I watched this year. Watched a lot of children's TV and movies, everyone.
Paw Patrol movie. I like that.
I restarted Under the Dome because I think I only ever watched the first episode back in the day. Boys, it's bad. It would not be on the list.
Stephen King.
Talk about some bad acting. Some very bad acting. Go back and watch it. It's on Paramount Plus.
Isn't Hank from Breaking Bad in that show?
He's a main character.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And his acting, like just the way it's written, is just terrible. It's like a VBS play. Like it's like me giving lines. That's what the whole show feels like.
It's a show about this town and a dome gets dropped on it and they don't know what to do.
I'm gonna finish it and do a should you watch that?
How many episodes are there?
There's 3 seasons, 39 episodes.
Oh, that's commitment right there.
35 hours of time. I am
42 minutes an episode.
We've been deep into the Sheridan verse over at our house. 1923 and Landman. We finished it, and so we're watching.
Landman looks good, but it's a little intense from the clips I've seen.
It's fine. From mature audiences only.
Mature audiences only.
So is 1923 though. Yeah. And I've been watching Reacher. That's the other one. Reacher's really good. Daredevil starts this week.
It does.
Tuesday.
We'll definitely need to watch that and do a should you watch that at the end.
I'm very excited about
it. I'm a big Daredevil guy.
I am. Hyped up. I'm excited. It's going to be good. Okay. Do we want to do a little bit of Combine talk here before we get out of here today?
Yeah, we can do a little Combine talk. It's hot and heavy on the TVs, on the Twitterverse.
Yeah, I can speed through some of this, like the guys on the 40-yard dash.
Oh,
look at that.
Got him.
What a transition.
Got him. All right, we're actually going to start there. So everybody likes to see the top speeds and if it transitions or not. And we're going to start with Maxwell Hairston. I'm saying that correctly because there's a T in there. And that is a cornerback from Kentucky. He had a 4.28 40-yard dash. It converted because when I was watching the drills, they did a lot of the cornerback drills where they're stepping back and like they're in coverage and then they have to go through cones. He looks so much like his change of direction and his cuts look so much different than any of the others that were out there. It was insane. And so they did the 40-yard first and they were talking about, hey, we need to keep an eye on this guy. And his just change of direction, cutting, his overall speed was just way better than any of the others that were out there. So just keep an eye on that.
I like him. He's on my list.
On your list? There you go.
Yep.
All right.
He's on my list.
When we're looking at other 40 times, it's funny. I mean, Tins were actually talking about this earlier, but the Texas wide receiver, I have to scroll down to find him. It's kind of funny to what was
which one? Isaiah Bond.
He was talking about how he was possibly going to beat the record.
He said he's going to. He made a declaration.
So you're thinking, he must have had like a 4.3 or
must
something
have been close, you know. Maybe like a 4.29, like really fast, but just not quite there.
Yeah, I'm having to scroll down. He had like a 4.4 something.
His first run was 4.41, And then his second run was 4.39.
There it is. Yep.
Yeah, that's super fast. That's still very fast.
That's very fast. Don't get me wrong.
But for you to go out and be like, I'm going to break the record, no doubt about it. So Texas, we might want to check Texas's pro day. They might have a 35-yard dash instead of a 34 because this guy had it in his head that he's out here breaking records.
Also, I don't know what's in their water or their food in Texas, but Xavier Worthy beat the record. He still had a very fast one, Isaiah Bond. And then Matthew Golden, he had the second best at a 4.29 wide receiver.
And Mitchell from last year, too. They've had a lot of dudes in a row, like really fast guys.
Zach, second fastest wide receiver for the 40, Dante Thornton Jr.
Yeah, he was flying there. 6'5",
which is insane. Yeah, he's 6'5" and running that fast. Like that's crazy.
Because a lot of it has to do with like when they're taller like that, like they're just not built.
It's literally the resistance, the air resisting them. Like it's not even a joke. Like that's a real thing.
And their gait is just obviously a little bit longer. So had a couple notes here.
He's a future Bear.
Future Bear.
Yeah.
When it came to the wide receiver drills, Tez Johnson out of Oregon, he had a slow 40 at 4.51. The commentators were also like, he's way faster than that. I don't know what's going on, but he looked really good in if anybody knows what the gauntlet is. They turn around, catch a ball, turn around, and then they just jet off the 35-yard line in a straight line, catching, I think, 6 balls in a row, and then they take off. They start timing that. He had one of the better time. He had the best time for the gauntlet, but most of his wide receiver drills did not drop a pass. Looked very smooth. Looked pretty good.
A lot of guys like the 40 is great. It's a good measure of like how fast you are. But I care more about that drill, the football drill, because that tells you how fast they are as a football player. Like football players don't run straight lines for 40 yards. I mean, they do. There's a go route, but I like to see the receiver moving, in and out of breaks and catching the ball and how fluid he is and how fast he can do that. So that was good for him because he is small too. He's like 5'9", 150 pounds. Like he's one of the smaller receivers ever to come to the combine.
And so they did a lot of copies of like the line following them, and you want to stay on that 35. You want to run a straight while you're catching those balls. While you're running across there. And his looked really good. We already talked about Isaiah Bond, but Jalen Knoll out of Iowa State. And then let's see, Torrey Horton, keep an eye on him. He came from Colorado State. He also looked really good in that as well. So that was a couple notes that I had. Everybody's wondering about the quarterbacks. It is not a surprise that obviously Jackson Dart is moving up in the boards and his combine. Just go back, just literally look up tape. I know Zach's not a fan, but he was killing every single pass that he had. So Jackson Dart moving up. I think he'll go in the top 15, top 10.
Steeler.
Top 15. Gosh. Let's see what happens, but Will Howard, and there's now, but Will Howard, and I did not like Dylan Gabriel also did not look good.
Dylan Gabriel's not a good quarterback. Newsflash.
I think a lot of people just because Oregon, they were in the playoffs, but they were explaining, and it makes sense to everybody. A lot of these, they had a random wide receiver lined up. You don't know what their speed is. You never worked with them. You never thrown past them in your day in your life. So you have to adjust. And that was what I like to watch, because everybody's like, no one cares. Like, this is an actual game. But for me, like, I like you have to adjust and figure it out. Like they even did the long ball. So you're having to throw a 40, 45 yard, 50 yard pass, and you're having to adjust to what their speed is. You're literally comprehending how fast they're going, and you have to throw that pass perfectly to them. So, Will Howard and Dylan Gabriel, they were both off. And obviously there's video surfacing now. It beat me to it. But of just Will Howard, it was all his misses. He was throwing behind. A majority of them were throwing in front of or too high. And Will Howard was even like throwing behind, getting behind there. So a couple of stock might be falling a little bit on those two. To note, everybody's like, why aren't you talking about Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders, Abdul Carter? None of them ended up going for the combine. It depends on what you want to see. If there's nothing for them to gain, but I like to see it, obviously, just because I want to see these guys work out and do. But I understand if they feel like they have nothing to lose, why go out there? And if something did mess up, or if you did mess up on something, maybe that tape would actually hurt you. But for me, I kind of was excited to see, especially Travis Hunter. Like, I was just curious to see him out on drills if he wasn't going to do the 40 and decide not to. So their pro days will be out soon and we'll get to see more of that. But yeah, that's my coverage. Any questions, comments?
Jackson Dart will be a Steeler.
There you go.
Will Howard will be a Raider. Dylan Gabriel will be undrafted.
Wow.
And this will go down as the best offensive and defensive line draft in recent memory. You're talking about multiple dudes at multiple positions on the offensive defensive line who are going to be 10 plus year starters. This, if you need some beefy boys, this is the draft to do it. If you need some wide receivers and corners and quarterbacks, this is not the draft to do it. So if you see them draft a lot of beefy big guys, be happy. It might be boring. Mel Kiper's not going to be hyping you up about, oh, this wide receiver has game-breaking speed, blah, blah, blah. No, sorry, it's not the draft for that. These aren't these guys. This is the draft for boring left tackles, right tackles, defensive tackles. Big guys.
Big guys.
Trenches.
That's important too, you know.
And luckily for both of our teams, we don't have dumb GMs running them anymore to draft dumb guys. We're going to draft good players.
That's right. We'll see what happens. You never know. Okay, that was the combine talk. Anything else, boys? Feeling good?
Love it.
Feeling great.
All right. Well, that is this week's episode of the Next Guy Out podcast. We appreciate you all listening in. Don't forget to check out the Discord. You can find that on our socials. And we appreciate you all listening in each and every week. Have a good one.